My name's Mary. So when I was about 10, I made the decision to become a vegetarian. I think I was a very determined child, and the more people told me I shouldn't, or I should be eating meat, the more I decided I wasn't going to. I think it's been more inconvenient because of the way people react to it. You can't just go and order a vegetarian meal without a comment being made. People asking where'd you get your protein, that kind of thing. My attitude has changed a bit since becoming an adult and learning more about climate change. I think it's facts like it takes a British person on average 12 days to produce the same amount of CO2 that someone in sub-Saharan Africa produces in a year. And it's people in the global south that are really suffering already as a result of our excessive lifestyles in the global north. Our whole food system is really imperialistic. We can go to the supermarket at any time of year, buy pretty much whatever we want, and we don't see the person that suffered to get it there. And I think that's like a really interesting development in who is our neighbour, because we don't see the face of our neighbour, but they're there. Like if we buy something cheap, someone else has paid the price for it. And even if we are not like actively perpetrating this injustice, we're all complicit and we all passively partake in it. And I think if we want to follow the example of Jesus and love our neighbours, I think that means making other people's problems our problems. And yeah, Jesus made our problems his problems, so we can't just sit by and pretend nothing's happening.
Is it already recording? Hi, my name's Tom, and I've been a meat eater for most of my life, but 2 years ago, my first year at university, I turned vegetarian. And that was good, and that did me well for a while, but it didn't quite cut it, and I thought I just needed to take it to the next level. So after a few months, I then decided, to take the plunge and go vegan. Why am I being beeped? Mary didn't get this. All right, fair enough. A lot of people who enjoy the plant-based diet, often get a bad rep, and maybe they go on off it a bit too much. So maybe that's fair enough. But in all seriousness, I decided to take the plunge because I felt very seriously convicted by it. I actually had some really good conversations with non-Christians about it, and they really challenged me because they knew the beliefs of Christianity and how that I take my discipleship of Jesus very seriously, and that I'm trying to become more loving, a slow but steady progress. And they challenged me and said, but how are you loving the people around the world with your diet? And this the penny dropped for me, and I thought, how on earth does my diet have anything to do with following Jesus? Part of it is you are a bit against the grain, and so that can quite easily lead to some difficult situations. So for example, at the Christmas party, I was around Kate and Phillips, and we were having a lovely time, and Kate and Philip just bring around these lovely treats, and each one of them either had something with milk in it or fish and that, and I had to be this awkward guest that was always like, no sorry, no sorry, no sorry. And I felt awkward for not being able to take anything, they felt awkward because they weren't giving me anything, and so it was a bit of a tension there, but that's kind of part and parcel of what it's like. But I don't really want the focus to necessarily be on what's my diet. That's almost a symptom of the fact that I think the whole climate crisis is actually a spiritual crisis where people, which isn't new, of people being selfish rather than selfless. And actually, it's not necessarily that we need people to change their diets, but what we really need is, the same old age problem of people to be selfless. And that takes Jesus. And so actually I think it can feel like a worldly problem, but I think it's profoundly a spiritual problem. So it's quite easy to go around attaching new labels to yourself, but ultimately I'm Tom the Christian, not Tom the vegan.